Hello, and welcome to the Live Past Crazy Show. Your host is Yanmitra Jojo Waddell, the only Live Past Crazy specialist. So what better place to be than here with her? Yanmitra appreciates you taking the time out to listen to the podcast, and it is her sincere hope that what we share is something that you can use to help you and someone you know live past crazy.
Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the first morning show. We are having confessions and conversations about your everyday life. Good morning. Hope you guys are ready to get this morning started. Hope you had a great weekend. I know I did. It was a busy weekend. I did more than I wanted to. More than I wanted to do something different, but that's okay. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Phyllis Morning Show. My name is Yanmitra Jojo Waddell, the only Live Past Crazy specialist. So what better place to be than here with me? How about that? Some glasses. I'm going to say some sunglasses. Some glasses for you guys. Let me send this. Let me share this to the page. Please make sure you share it because sharing is caring. If your friends and family not have Facebook, send them to the YouTube channel. They can binge watch all the Phyllis Morning shows over there. Don't forget, we do have a podcast, so they can catch it there as well. And we do have 5 books, and you are free to read all of those that are available on Amazon. So if you simply type in my name, then you will find them there. So please make sure you share the show, and if you share, please tag me so that I can tell you thank you. So I will know that you did that. I greatly appreciate it. So on this morning, let's get right into the quote of the day and the thought of the day. If you missed last week, please go back and watch it. We had a good shows last week, like some really good shows. So make sure you go back and catch it. So the fearless quote of the day comes from me. It is my quote. If you only trust what you see, then the universe can't offer you anything else. That's by Yanmitra Waddell. That's by JoJo. If you only trust what you see, then the universe can't offer you anything else. And I love that quote because if you are not allowing yourself to see a thing or envision it or think about it, there is nothing anybody else can offer you. If you only trust what you see, the universe can't offer you anything else. And I want us to be just mindful of that what we see is so absolutely important and essential that, y'all, if you don't allow yourself to dream or think just for a minute, then you're going to set in with frustration and fear and anger and all the things. But have you trusted to look at something? So if you only trust what you see, the universe can't offer you anything else. So what are you looking at? If you only trust what you see, the universe can't offer you anything else. what then? Can you get mad because you haven't went any further? Or are you trying to see something else? So that's the quote of the day. The thought of the day, y'all, is how come my title didn't come over? It is how many is this? The 5 things I learned about patience. The 5 things I learned about patience. So patience, and today's Phyllis thought of the day. And sometimes I read these over and over again. It comes from this book. One day my soul just opened up by Iyanla Vanzant. I always say her name right. The patience. The greatest challenge to your development is patience, is being able to wait for the tangible evidence that your efforts are paying off. When I tell you that may be the hardest part of growth, the hardest part of you working towards something is when you don't see the immediate change. Like, you want to see something right now, but you can't see it right now because it's not paying off the way you want it. Sometimes we have an idea of, I've prayed for a thing and this is how I wanted it. And so when it doesn't come in the package that we wanted, it doesn't look like, it doesn't sound like, it doesn't talk like what we wanted, and it doesn't feel like how we imagined. So we ignore the thing that we said we wanted because it has come in a way that we are unaware. And we are unaware because we're so busy looking for it that you are not aware that it has arrived, because your patience is so thin and you are wanting it to be a certain way that you cannot see when it has arrived, because it looks totally different than what you assumed it would be. And that, my friend, is the one thing that will absolutely keep us where we are, doing the same thing, because we do not understand that we don't understand that it may come in a different way, and that's okay. So sometimes we have an idea so firmly planted that we often are able to detect that the very thing that we wanted has actually arrived, because it doesn't look like, sound like, or appear the way we thought it would, or it does not feel how we imagined it would. So we keep going. And how many of us have overlooked blessings after blessings after blessings because we needed it packaged a certain way? So the 5 things I learned about patience, and this comes from Iyanla Vanzant, and I read this book because it's a really good book. I think I bought it 2 years ago, and I read it several times. Patience requires an inner knowing. Patience, 1, is a demonstration of your willingness to surrender complete control to the wisdom of the divine. 2, patience is the ability to discern the unfolding of a goal even in the midst of your windstorm. And that's where your core has to be strong. That's when you have to know your knower. Like, you have to, like I say all the time, my destiny is not changing, so it doesn't matter what I come up against. It doesn't matter what I'm hitting. It doesn't matter what obstacle comes in my way. My destiny is not changing. So the ability to discern the unfolding of a goal, even in the midst of a windstorm. Number 3, your efforts are paying off even when you can't see it. I'm a firm believer that I think that's why 100% of us stop, is because we can't see the immediate growth or the immediate change in the thing that we said we wanted. Oh, Judge, I want to change how I'm thinking. But you have one good thought for one day and you assume that that's it. Well, why ain't I positive Patty? Well, it don't work that way. It takes time. You've got to have patience. And so your efforts are paying off even when you can't see it. That's going to require patience. Number 4, retreat to your core. When you're being challenged, and remind yourself of your greatness. Good morning, Tiffany. Patience requires you to retreat to your core when you're being challenged and to remind yourself of your greatness. I'm not saying that on this journey there won't be any challenges. What I'm saying is that if you are patient with yourself, right, and When you have one of those challenging days, y'all know me, I'll start a day over in a minute. You either start your day over or you end that day, meaning you go to bed, you go to sleep, and you start over the next day. Or you take a deep breath and you redirect that day. But patience is going to require sometimes for you to retreat to your core and remind yourself that you qualify to be great. And number 5 is knowing that you, regardless, you have done your best. So patience requires the inner knowing, and it requires 5 things. Patience is a demonstration of your willingness to surrender complete control to the wisdom of the divine. That's a hard one, but we're going to start out with the good stuff. Surrender complete control to the wisdom of the divine. That means me knowing that my destiny's here. It doesn't matter what I come up against here. I'm trusting that this is going to happen, that this is going to be in result. Number 2, the ability to discern the unfolding of a goal, even in the midst of a windstorm. Meaning, even when you in that rock, in that hard place, right? Where you can't quite understand, you don't know, you ain't moving forward, you ain't doing this, that you are still moving. That's when your core that's what you're knowing. It has to be strong. Your core needs to be strong, because life can hit you upside your head and you be like, but I was working toward that goal and life popped me in the mouth, but you're still working toward that goal. It doesn't matter what the wind brought to you. All that matters is, remember, there's a quote, and I like it. I used it a couple of months ago. It says, Stephen King said this, it doesn't matter where you took a stand. All that matters is that you're still standing. Period. So the ability to discern the unfolding of a goal, even in the midst of a storm, windstorm. So that means regardless of what you come up against, your goal has not changed. Your destiny has not changed. You're still working towards that thing. Number 3, your efforts are paying off even when you can't see it. Even when you can't see it, even when you don't understand it, even when you are questioning your good mind, it is working and paying off. For me, though, I would say 2 and 3, 2, 3, and 4. Well, all of them really. When I was going through some things, and even now, like when times are hard, or I don't understand the journey, because I'm not saying the thing about growing and learning is that it is it's evolution every day. You are changing and growing with it every day as you continue on this journey. And so for me, when I've been doing the morning show for 3 years, in that first year, the first year wasn't even the first year was from November to November. That first year when there were 0 views, 1 view, no comments, 2 views, no comments, I wanted to quit. I wanted to give up. Year 2, I was like, okay, I'm not sure why I'm doing this. I wanted to give up. 3, your efforts are paying off even when you can't see it. The key to it, your patience, is consistency. So I found myself, even with writing, I've written 5 books. Book 1, I was scared half to death because I could not, and I was in the midst of crazy and chaos, and I could not understand how this was going to pay off. But my patience, your efforts are paying off even when you cannot see it. Is you staying consistent, because number 1, you are demonstrating your willingness to surrender to the complete control to the wisdom of the divine. I knew my destiny's not changing. The ability to discern the unfolding of my goal in the midst of a windstorm. I knew I was working towards something. Yes, this was insane. Yep, I didn't understand it, but I knew I was working for something. 3, my efforts are paying off even when I can't see it. Every day, it is changing. When you begin to release weight, you don't see a difference on day 1. It may take 60 days before you see a difference. For me, it was 3 years before people started sharing the video. Before friends, I can't name my mama was my mama, but I don't know if my family and friends watch my show. Consistency, the ability to keep going even in the windstorm, and my willingness to surrender complete control to the wisdom of the divine. being consistent every single day. Being consistent, you want a different mindset, you need to consistently show that. You want something different in your life, you need to consistently think that so that it can manifest before you. Number 4 is retreat to your core. When you're being challenged, and remind yourself of your greatness. There have been many of days after book 1, even before book 1 came out, book 2, that I challenged who I was, or the challenge was so great that everything was hitting me. It's like, why am I doing this? Like, JoJo, why are you doing this? Like, there's got to be something different. Why are you doing that? That is when I had to call on all of my resources of being positive Patty and pull out all the books and remind myself when I'm qualified to be exceptional, remind myself of my greatness, remind myself that I'm on a journey. This is my destiny. And remember that quote, I may not have been a lion, but the lion's roar has fallen upon me. So it doesn't make a difference whether I want to quit or not. I have something that only I can do. So there's no need for me to complain about the process of the thing because my destiny pool ain't changing. And I know I aggravate the pure devil out of people. That's the old country saying. I know I aggravate the pure devil out of some people when I say I can't worry about that. I'm not going to concern myself with certain things because it's no concern. Remember, and if you never read the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, please go read that. It talks about your circle of concern and your circle of influence. I've done a whole show on that, I think twice. Please go read that book. Even if you just go to that section, circle of influence and circle of concern. And when I changed my circle of influence, so many things changed for me. My circle of concern, I no longer participated in. I stayed solely in my circle of influence. So when I'm being challenged or I'm having a bad day, I retreat to my core and I remind myself of my greatness. I remind myself of my circle of influence and that I'm qualified to be exceptional, that I'm the only one who can do this. Nobody else can do it. And I take that minute because patience is going to require your inner knowing, right? And it's going to require that when things are not going the way you want, that you remind yourself of your greatness and the journey that you set out on every day. Because some mornings, in the beginning, them first 2 years, look, I've been doing this a long time. Them first 2 years was rough because I questioned what's the word I want to use? I questioned what I was supposed to be doing and how I was supposed to be doing it. By the time year 3 came around, I was settled in. Remember we talked about you got to wallow in it and taking ownership of yourself. You have to wallow in it. One of the steps of wallowing it is to feel yourself and to understand that this is what you're supposed to do. That's where I was at year 3. I'm still in year 3. So number 5 is knowing that you've done your best. So patience is knowing that you've done your best and being okay with that. Because there are days where I have not achieved the thing that I set out to do, but I know I've done my best to make that happen or to see it to the end. So knowing you've done your best is key to your patience. Have you ever heard somebody say, somebody shoot anybody? I don't have the patience for that. Joe, I don't have time for that. I don't have time to learn that. I don't want to. I would rather you say I don't want to instead of say you don't have the patience and you don't have the time. Because I think those two things are self-defined. They're self-defined, meaning you put that definition on yourself. I like that word. Self-defined. You put that word on yourself, not anybody else. You put that on yourself. You self-defined that you had no patience. You self-defined all of that. Yes, man. That's like planting a lemon tree and want lemons tomorrow. Planting an apple tree and wanting apples tomorrow. It doesn't work. You didn't grow instantaneously. So why do you expect this dream or the thing that you're working on to do the same thing? So patience requires an inner knowing, right? The quote of the day, y'all, is by me. If you only trust what you see, then the universe can't offer you anything else. If you only trust what you can see, the universe can't offer you anything else. That's by JoJo Waddell. Meaning, if you only trust the problems that you see, you cannot pray for an answer and receive it, because you're not allowing yourself the patience of seeing it grow to that thing. You're not giving yourself space to that. So if you only trust what you can see, there's no room for your blessing to come. Does that make sense? Is that simple? If you only trust what you can see, you dreaming big, those things, there's no room for them here because you're looking here. And I want to say it was not Jim Quick, Quick, but it was another guy. He talks about brain science. And I did a whole show on this. He said, you're only focused on what you can lose. You're not focused on what you're gaining. So because you're only focused on what you're losing, you never move. You never make a decision. You never change your mind. You never do anything different. You stay at a job you hate. You stay in a relationship you hate because you are focused on everything that you're losing, and you're not focused on anything that you could possibly gain. And because you're not willing to do that transition, this is your life. So there's no, I'm a firm believer that there's no need for you to complain if this is you. If you only trust what you see, then the universe can't offer you anything else. If you're not going to allow yourself a moment to dream and think, if you're not willing to take your eyes off of what you currently see to see where you're going, there ain't no need you complaining about nothing. Because you are accepting. You are choosing to accept it. That come on, Tiffany, 8 to the man. And every person in the Bible, whatever religion you choose, whatever person they're talking about in their book and their religion, it all required an action. It required growth process. It required patience, and it required having a vision. I ain't gonna remember that because I just got it off the top of my head. So somebody remember that for me. It required all of those things from them people. They had to have a vision. They had to have patience. It was a growth process. It required action of them. Period. Like she said, Abraham could not be the father of many if he first didn't trust the universe, the divine God, to do everything that he said he was going to do. If you only trust what you see, then the universe can't offer you anything else. Apply that to everybody in the Bible. If they only trusted what they saw, where would we be? What would we be doing? How would the world be? Patience. The greatest challenge to your development of patience is being able to wait for the tangible evidence that your efforts are paying off. Sometimes we have an idea so firmly planted that we're unable to detect the very thing that we said we want has actually arrived because it don't look like, sound like, smell like it. We don't feel like we thought we would feel when it gets here. So we keep going past it. Patience requires our inner knowing. So the 5 things about patience is it is a demonstration of your willingness to surrender complete control to the wisdom of the divine. That means you say, regardless, I know my destiny is not changing. A to the man. And the spirit is what? Your mind. The spirit is that knower that talks to you and speaks to you. That's that. Absolutely. It was thought first. Then it came to be so. The, the good Lord showed you that in making of the earth. In the word that we lived in, he spoke it first, and then it became. Your words are power. So patience requires an inner knowing. Number one is the demonstration of your willingness to surrender to complete control of the wisdom of the divine. Your destiny's not changing. The ability to discern the unfolding of a goal, even in the midst of a windstorm. Your core needs to be strong. Meaning it don't matter what's happening, your destiny ain't changing. And that, my friend, is going to require some mental strength. And that's where your core needs to be strong. Because on those days when, the lights was out and there was no food and there was no gas and the kids wasn't at school and I wasn't at work and there was no money, it was on those days. My core wasn't even strong then. My core wasn't even strong, but it was on those days that I had to depend on something, my demonstration to surrender my willingness to the wisdom of the divine, that my destiny's not changing. So on those days, that even in the midst of my windstorm, that my destiny's not changing. And so my thought process is, well, this is happening. All right, let me move past this because my end result ain't changing. Let me move past this. Number 3, your efforts are paying off even when you can't see it. Yeah, I'm 3 years in. Listen, I'm 16 years into this life journey, and you've got to understand that you are working towards a thing, and even when you cannot see the fruit of your labor instantaneously, that the fruit is being developed. You remember you was hungry and your mama cooked your favorite meal, and it seemed like it took forever for it to get ready? Like you starting right now, and a good cake of cornbread take a minute. Some collard greens, some pinto beans out the bag, not out the can. Put them in the pressure cooker, let them cook. It takes time, and even when you cannot see that your efforts are paying off, you have to know that they are. Number 4, you got to retreat to your core when you are being challenged and remind yourself of your greatness. When you don't understand, you like, Lord, like for real though, I can't handle nothing else. That's when your core has got to be strong. You got to remind yourself of your greatness. Remind yourself that you're qualified to be exceptional. Remind yourself of all the things that you are working on, working towards. And number 5 is knowing that you are doing your best. Every morning you get up, you're doing your best. If my destiny's not changing, I'm trusting the divine. I know I'm working on something. It don't matter what comes because my destiny's not changing. Your efforts are paying off. And then when it is all difficult, I am looking inward to my knowing to understand that I'm qualified to be exceptional. I am the miracle. I am the answer. Know that you're doing your best. Cut yourself some slack. And there were many days I had to cut myself some slack too. Like, I had to cut myself a lot of slack because I was doing the best, and I had to have patience to know that with what I had, I was doing the best with what I had. Some of us question that. If you're doing the best you can with what you have, keep going. Don't stop. The greatest challenge to your development of patience is being able to wait for the tangible evidence that your efforts are paying off. You plant the tree for the shade for the next generation, because it may be some time before that tree has fully grown and you see what you've been working on. And you've got to be patient with yourself in that growth process. And sometimes we say we don't have the patience for that. And the very thing that you said you wanted has come and gone because you didn't feel like you thought you should feel. It didn't look like you thought it should look. It didn't talk like you thought it should talk. It didn't sound. It didn't appear. Like it wasn't what you thought, so you kept going. Good morning, Miss Leah. Patience requires an inner knowing. So the quote of the day, y'all. If you only trust what you see, then the universe can't offer you anything else. That's by JoJo Waddell. If you only trust what you see, then the universe can't offer you anything else. The thought of the day is the 5 things I learned about patience. The 5 things about patience. And it comes from Iyanla Vanzant. Let me show you the book. Some of my books I read over because there's things that you want to pick up that you missed the first time around. Patience is the inner knowing. It requires a demonstration of your willingness to surrender to complete control to the wisdom of the divine, the ability to discern the unfolding of a goal even in the midst of a windstorm. That's where your core has to be strong. 3, your efforts are paying off even when you cannot see it. 4, retreat to your core. When you're being challenged, remind yourself of your greatness. And number 5, patience is knowing that you have done your best. Knowing that you're on the right journey. Knowing every day you give all that you have. And be patient with yourself. Know that you are moving and you are growing at this pace that you're supposed to, at the place you're supposed to, when you're supposed to. And don't overlook it because it doesn't look like what you think. Period. So on this wonderful, wonderful Monday, I want you guys to have an amazing day. Period. And I want you to be patient with yourself. And if you say you don't have patience for that, that is what I say. You have self-defined yourself. You have put that self-definition on you for you to assume that you have no patience. And you ain't even tried. The greatest challenge to your development of patience is being able to wait for the tangible evidence that your efforts are paying off. 3 years ago when I started the Fearless Morning Show, and 3 years ago, it wasn't even a Fearless Morning. Yeah, it was the Fearless Morning Show 3 years ago, but it was I don't know if y'all know this, but it started 3 years ago in November with me and Lynn Dimmons, and it was to promote an event, how to live past crazy in your life and your finances. And we decided that if we did a show leading up to that event, that it would, people would buy the tickets and they would come out. But guess what? That didn't happen. And so we stuck with the morning show anyway. And here I am 3 years later, still sticking with the morning show. And here's my quote that plays today. If you only trust what you see, then the universe can't offer you anything else. If I trusted in November, was that 2017? 18, 19, yeah, 2017. If I had trusted what I saw then doing the morning show, if I had trusted that when I had no viewers, 1, 0, like nobody, they wasn't watching a replay, they wasn't watching it, period. Had I allowed that to stop me, or if I had talk myself out of it, and have not been patient with myself, then we wouldn't be here at year 3. There wouldn't be 5 books. And so sometimes the beginning of your journey does not represent the end of your journey. The middle of it ain't the end of it. It's not your final destination. You pick up things along the way that remind you that you're on the right journey. Your destiny is not changing. It's the things that you pick up along the way that remind you. So when you hit that windstorm, when you hit that difficult moment, and you have to retreat and remind yourself of your greatness, you have to remind yourself that you're qualified to be exceptional. Those are days that your patience is going to come into play. There have been many days when I've had those thoughts, look, I ain't even going to do the morning show no more. Ain't nobody watching. Don't nobody care what JoJo had to say. Ain't nobody caring that I lived in crazy. They don't care. They don't care if I want to teach them something or if I want to share my story. They're not caring. Those were my thoughts. Every morning I was like, I don't even know. Shoot. I don't even know why I'm doing this. Ain't nobody gonna come in here anyway. How many of us have talked ourselves out? We have defeated ourselves instantaneously before we even tried a thing. You mean to tell me y'all? And for those that don't know, I was doing the morning show in my car. When Rosie started high school and I chose a high school that was not in our area, I was having to get up in the mornings, leave my home by 6:15, to get to her school by 7:15, to do the morning show in my car, and then drive another 45 minutes to work. So from 6:15 to 9:10, I was in my car because I was dedicated that regardless, I was going to do the morning show. And so I did it from my car. And in those days, I was thinking, who is fixing to watch me talk in the car? Ain't nobody gonna watch this. You've got to be patient with yourself. If you only trust what you see, then the universe can't offer you anything else. If I only trusted what I saw, then the offer of book 5 wouldn't have been here. Me writing book 6 wouldn't be here. The OWN network would not be here. The talk show would not be here. The partnerships that I have, they would not be here had I only trusted what I saw. There ain't nobody watching these videos. If I trusted that part, we would not be here today. There would be, and here's the thing, we think that it should look a certain way, but the ramifications of your vision is so vast that it touches so many things that you can't even begin to understand. Had I thought that 3 years ago that I'm not fixing, I don't even have the patience to keep doing this. Come on, Miss Leah, we keep doing it. And I would tell myself, I don't have the patience to keep doing this, and ain't nobody watching, ain't nobody listening. Had I given up 3 years ago, there wouldn't be a bookstore today. All of it is connected, every bit of it. But if you only trust what you see, you can't get the rest of it. Period. Because the rest of it is requiring something more of you. So if you can't handle what you can see right now, why would more come if you can't handle this? That sound familiar, right? You can't even put it in the bank and let it draw interest. Why would I give you more? So the beginning of my journey doesn't look like this part of my journey, and I'm a firm believer I'm still at the beginning stage. My destiny's not changing, and I'm still working towards it. Patience is going to require an inner knowing of yourself. Thank you, Tiffany. I appreciate that. And y'all, it is on those days that I have to remind myself of the reason why I am doing it. And for JoJo, it is because when I didn't know the answer, or had no one to give me any information or answer or how to change my mindset, and I didn't even know what to ask for. Like, I didn't know how to tell anybody what I needed. And so I remember that day. I know it's like to be broken, be hurt, confused, and I wished and prayed that somebody would gave me some kind of answer. And so that's why I share how to live past crazy, my mindset, how I walk this journey out, because it is a continuous journey. Growth is an evolution. It never stops. There's always a pruning phase. There's a planting, pruning, growing, harvest. And yeah, you say, I'm ready to harvest all the things, Joe, that I've been working on. I'm ready for the harvest. Well, the harvest is the hardest work. The harvest is the hardest work. I have worked harder in this last 7 months than I have in the past 3 years. The harvest is the harder part. You may have grown something and you just grew it, you planted in the ground, you weren't expecting much, but maybe you was just consistent enough for it to grow, right? And now you're in the harvest space, you're starting to see the fruit of it, and it is requiring more of you, my friend. It's requiring a different level, because now when them shoulders start to hurt, well, you still got to pick up that harvest before it rots on the ground, before it's taken away, because you don't appreciate it, because you don't have the patience to handle it. Good morning, Kimberly. The harvest part is the hardest season. You work harder in the harvest because you got to pick it up, and then you got to prepare it for future generations. Because when you harvest something, it ain't just for you to gobble up right then. You are preparing it for future generations. Hence, legacy building. Hence, us making things for our family. We planted the tree so that our family can have the shade. A to the men. Yes, ma'am. And when you understand that the process is getting you the end result, then the process ain't that bad. When I understood in my little North Carolina mind that, JoJo, if you go through this and you feel this, and I'm for all the feelings. If you go through this and you feel this, yeah, this is hard, but look at what you're learning, JoJo. Okay, get this lesson, take some notes. How are you going to apply this? How can you show somebody else? If they do this, this is going to happen. If I look at the process in such a way that I know I'm going to use it as a catapult, as a building block, as a brick for me to step up to the next thing, then I enjoy the journey. Then the journey ain't that bad, because what's not changing is my destiny, boo. It don't matter the wind that comes, because if I've done the work and my core is strong, I may lose a leaf, a big limb may fall down, but guess what? My core has not changed. My destiny has not changed. So if I only trust what I can see, then the universe can't give me anything else. And because I'm focused on what I'm gaining and not what I'm losing, it don't matter the wind blowing. It don't matter what fall off. No, my destiny ain't changing, because that's what I'm focused on. I ain't focused on this here. And when I tell you I've aggravated the devil out of some people, and they say, well, JoJo, what about this? Not my business, not my concern. I'm not focused. I'm not thinking about that. No to the man. If I am getting ready for the harvest phase, what I cannot be concerned with is somebody else's garden, somebody else's growth process. I cannot be concerned with that. What I can do, right, is tell you, hey, boo, if you gird up that tree so it grows straight, this is what's going to happen. Hey, boo, if you water it just right, then this is going to happen. I can give you some tips all day, but I cannot be so concerned with your garden that I miss my own harvest. And we have got to be prepared for the harvest part. That is where the most work is going to come in. That is where everything now is going to be required of you. That is you and all the hard work that you've done, your thought process, the policies and procedures you put in place, the words you've spoken, the things that you said you wanted to come and see. Now they're all coming to pass. Are you ready for that part of it? And if you're ready for the harvest part, boo, you better strap it up, put them boots on, let's get to work. This is the hardest part of it, period. And that's where your friends come in, your purpose partners, when you say, girl, this blessing is something else. I'm handling it, but the harvest is the hardest part, because there is where you're getting the things that you say you wanted. But to get to the harvest phase, you can't trust just what you see right now. Because if you only trust that, then the universe can't give you anything else. Good morning, Miss Joe. Patience requires an inner knowing. It is a demonstration of your willingness to surrender complete control to the wisdom of the divine. Number one, the ability to discern that your goal is unfolding even in the middle of a windstorm. That's why your core has to be strong. That your efforts are paying off even when you can't see it. Number four, and even on those days where you say, I don't understand, you give yourself a break to say, JoJo, you are qualified to be exceptional. You can be great. This is your destiny. Keep going. That's when your core you got to rely on your core, however you developed it. And number five, knowing that you have done your best. Period. And I promise, if we keep those things in mind, the journey won't be so bad. I ain't gonna say it's gonna be pretty, but you're going to enjoy the growth process, because there's so much to learn about you in your growth process, things that you don't even know that you knew. But as you cultivate, you grow it, you focus on it, you are feeding that thing, you are watering that thing, making sure it gets the right amount of sun, making sure it gets the right amount of words, then you begin to enjoy the journey. Then you begin to see the little sprouts that are coming up. And you, my friend, harvest. Because it is absolutely coming. That is the hardest part of what you're asking, is being prepared for the harvest. So if you get weak in the planting phase, if you're aggravated and frustrated in the planning phase, in the working phase, in the journey to your destination, when the harvest comes, you will not be able to sustain it. You have to appreciate all parts of your journey, period. From the planting to the growing, to the winds coming and the rain coming, to losing a limb, to losing some leaves, but knowing that, like that tree, you can bend, but you don't break. You may have bent over. It didn't change the destiny that you're still a strong tree, that you're still getting shade. It doesn't matter what happened. Your destiny hasn't changed. So I hope this has helped somebody today, guys. If it has, please let me know. The quote of the day is by JoJo Waddell. If you only trust what you see, then the universe can't offer you anything else. And I have to remind myself of that constantly. Constantly. If you only trust what you see, if you only trust that, tell me where's the faith in your prayer? Because faith requires patience. So you're asking for a thing that may not come instantaneously, that may not come immediately. Where's your faith in the thing that you said that you wanted? If you only trust what you see, where's your faith in that? Isn't that somewhere in the Bible? If your faith only allows you to trust what you see, is it faith? No, that's just you looking at something and you see it because it's tangible in front of you. Faith requires that you see something that is not before you at that moment. Faith requires that you do something different. There's somebody knocking at my door. Maybe come on to the next. Faith requires more from you. Period. Faith requires something different. It requires that you see something that you cannot see. Period. That's what it requires. And if you're not willing to see something different than what you see right now, what good is your faith? What do you have faith in if you don't take your sight off of what you see right now to see something different? What do you use? What is your faith? What is your religion? What do you believe in? Can you say you believe in God if you don't trust, if you only trust what he shows you today? Can you say that? Can you say a prayer and ask for a thing, but you don't believe you're going to get it because it ain't before you, so you don't even think about it? Maybe that's your harvest time. Your harvest time could be you simply trusting that something is coming and take your eye off what you see right now. So on this lovely, lovely Monday, it's going to be an amazing day. But you think about that. If you only trust what you see, then the universe can't offer you anything else. And if this has helped you, please make sure you share the show, because sharing is caring. If your friends and family do not have Facebook, send them over to the YouTube channel. They can binge watch all the Fearless Woman shows. We have 5 books now, soon to be 6. So you can read all of those on Amazon, Walmart, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, Walmart, everywhere books are sold. If they don't do that, we have a podcast called The Live Past Crazy Show, and you can check that out as well. Don't forget the Sister Rise Retreat is coming up. It is October the 16th through the 18th. Let me type it in here for you. And you can check it out there. But more importantly, if you share the show, please tag me or let me know that you shared it so I can tell you thank you. If this has helped you, please let me know. You know, patience is an amazing thing. Don't just trust what you can see. Be open to the more so that more can come to you. Okay? And it's an amazing day. So I want you to be peaceful, period, because there's nothing after that. And I will see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. Have a good one.
Thank you again for listening to the Live Past Crazy Show with Yonmitra Jojo. She is the only Live Past Crazy specialist, and she is glad you spent your time with her. If you would like to know more about why she knows crazy and about her journey, she invites you to check out her website, www.livepastcrazy.com, as well as follow her on social media. Yonmitra is her tag for IG, Twitter, and Facebook, JANMETRA. She also invites you to join her on the Fearless Morning Show, weekdays at 7:15 a.m. on Facebook Live. Again, you can find us on Facebook with the Fearless Morning Show page or by name. Remember, as a result of working with the only Live Past Crazy specialists, individuals are able to identify the crazy in their lives and develop a specific blueprint to begin to live past crazy. Do you know anybody who needs to live past crazy? Then send them over her way, because there is life after crazy. Be peaceful, period. And Yonmitra will see you guys on the next show.